The first full space exploration 3 missions have now reached Martian orbit. They were launched last July when Mars was closest to Earth. Importantly, 2 of the missions are relative newcomers in space exploration, bringing a fresh perspective to Mars exploration. Dubai lit up the city last week with a light show display as United Arab Emirates probe successfully entered the orbit of Mars. Hope, as the craft is called, made history as the Arab world's first interplanetary mission. The probe's designed to reveal the secrets of Martian weather. In yet another space exploration success, a rocket bearing NASA's Perseverance rover is expected to land on Mars on Thursday. Perseverance will be the 5th NASA rover ever to land on the red planet since 1997. The new rover, dubbed Percy, will scour the dusty, crater-strewn planet for evidence of ancient life and prepare the way for future human visitors. China, another nation with a rover mission on Mars set to land on the red planet. The Tianwen-1 robotic probe is the first Chinese spacecraft to reach the red planet, fresh off a successful sample return mission to the moon. The solar-powered rover will investigate soil characteristics and potential water-ice distribution. Tianwen means questions to heaven in Chinese. Well, joining us now to have a look at why these are so important and why they matter so much to humanity, the University of the Western Cape astrophysicist, Professor Lerothodi Leeuw. Professor Leeuw, good afternoon to you. Thank you for your time. It's an incredibly hard thing to do, to actually get a human-made spacecraft all the way to Mars. What are we hoping that we'll learn from these trips, from these probes?
The 3 probes or missions have slightly different goals, and the goals are correlated with their experiences, the experiences of the nations. You did mention that the US one will be landing on the 18th, and it's 5th mission. So that one is really, really advanced. Just the landing itself is advanced. So it is a mission with a probe, going to the planet directly. When it reaches the orbit of the planet, it will do adjustments so that the cruiser that took it there can leave the probe and then do a parachute landing. So it's really just like this bullet that's being sent there, and that will do a direct landing. The other 2 missions will just orbit, the planet, with the one from the UAE just staying in orbit and never landing, and then observing the atmosphere of Mars. Whilst the Chinese one will do an orbit first, and then after about 2 or 3 months in orbit, send the rover down. That's a more conservative approach, and again, commensurate with their experience. And then the science they will actually do also varies a little bit. And this time I'll start with the UAE one that is just going to study the atmosphere around Mars as like basically this camera that will be orbiting the planet. And one of the interesting things about the atmosphere is, for example, is that we think that Mars used to have an atmosphere similar to Earth, and that has now diminished. It's quite thin at the moment. So it would be interesting to learn more about how that atmosphere evolved, because, for example, it will help us learn how our atmosphere here on Earth would evolve. We know things like global warming that's affecting our atmosphere. So it could help, for example, understand how global warming could, affect our own atmosphere going to the future. It is not as advanced as the others, but still very, very important. The Chinese one, or the one from China Space Agency, that will do a landing, and in part, it's just to help China improve its technical expertise of getting there and maneuvering. So in terms of technology, it's similar to past US accomplishments of getting there. There is one unique science it will try and do. It has a probe to send radar to the surface of Mars and study the geology of the planet. So this radar is able to penetrate the planet, the surface of the planet, and that would be one of the unique sciences the probe from China will be after. And now, if we get to this one of the US with really advanced science, I guess just quickly to mention that the one from China will be landing on a fairly flat plane because, as we said, they don't have this much experience. Whilst the one in the US will be landing in a lake, crater lake, an old crater lake that is believed to have had, liquid water in it in the past. So technically, this rover can maneuver, surfaces that are not rough. We see an image of it there, landing. Or this is a simulation. It hasn't gotten there yet. And then in this lake, one of the things then it will be probing and looking at is a science of ancient life from this particular area that is believed to have water from the past. And this search of biological signatures is really, unique and advanced. So really getting to this question about whether there has been life there, that life could be sustained. And then it will do two other important things. It will actually drill into the planet and then store soils that a second rover will then bring. So it's quite a clever thing they've sort of done to first drill and then store, because to bring things back is not easy at all. And typically what they will probably do for the mission that brings it back, the samples back, is that mission will probably just send a probe to again circle, send something down, and then that thing come back to the thing that's circling, and the thing that's circling the planet will be the one that brings the samples back. So it's very clever to already collect the samples so that when the next mission comes, it just does the work of picking them up. And then lastly, yeah, thank you.
Sorry, Professor. I mean, it's just incredible. It's fascinating stuff. We need to have longer conversations about this. I mean, possibly the future of humanity rests on it. Professor Lerothodi Leeuw, I really do appreciate the time. Thank you. Well, from Mars to sport with Kolo and Shinga in a moment. The sky is the limit.